So that's one thing. If you have a 2-2, don't write yourself off. You still have a chance. Do you want to remain in Canada to continue to work? Is that the end goal for you to stay and settle in Canada? When you think about that very well, international students, a lot of times they are able to get their first jobs with the places where they do their co-op. Application process is straightforward. If you can get a job.
Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Lynda, and on this channel I share information about nursing abroad, getting jobs abroad, remote job opportunities worldwide. So if you're interested in any of those, be sure to subscribe and always come back for more. For my returning subscribers, I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much for always coming back. Okay, so let's get into today's topic.
Well, first, thank you very much, Lynda, for having me. My name is Marina. Legal name is Marina Esiri. I have to explain this all the time, that Marina Esiri is actually not my last name. Esiri is my middle name. So my name is Marina Esiri Esiri. I'm a content creator based in Saskatoon in Canada. I'm a HR professional by training. And I create content around settling into life in Canada and just how foreign trained professionals can settle in and make the best choices when they move to Canada. Occasionally, I share information about how to optimize your chances of coming into Canada as an international student. I have previous experience working in one of the Canadian universities as a graduate administrator. So I have an idea of the back end process, what it looks like, the admission process from the angle of the school, so I use that experience to just share information generally that make people to be more competitive in how they can secure admission and get scholarships in Canada. So yeah, basically that's what my channel revolves around.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. At least you know that something that you're going to take out from this channel is not like what they said or something that you just see randomly on the internet. She has had this experience herself and she lives in Canada. And I believe that what she will share with us today will actually make a lot of sense. So Marina, please, can you just tell us the steps? What are the best ways? What are the best practices when you've decided that you want to study in Canada, and how people can easily go through those processes without hitches? Can you just tell us?
Okay, so basically, if you're interested in applying to Canada as an international student from whatever country you're coming from, your first step is to research. Your first step is to read, to figure out what course exactly are you looking for? What is the reason why you want to do this course? I feel like the people who are still in university right now are in the best positions when it comes to graduate admission, when it comes to applying to Canadian universities. Because if you're still in university right now, it means that you still have influence over what your overall grades will be. If you're saying like in your second year, you're in the best position because you still have 2 more years in school to make sure that you're passing at your best grades, because most institutions in Canada, especially if they're going to consider you for admissions at graduate level, they use the last 2 years of your education to compute your entrance average. So if you're a 200 level student right now, you still have 2 years to make sure that you're passing your 300 level, your 400 level. If you pass those two very well, it will put you in a very competitive position and your entrance average will be high. This brings me to one very popular question that I always get when people say, I have a 2-2, can I get into a Canadian university to do my master's? Entrance average is determined using the last 2 years of your education, not necessarily your class of degree. So you can have a weak first year, have a weak second year, and you do very well in your last 2 years. You might end up graduating with a 2-2, but your entrance average for the last 2 years will be high because that's where you did the best. So they will consider your entrance average, not your class of degree. So if you have a 2-2, you still have a chance of getting in if your last 2 years were your strongest years in your undergrad. That's if you're looking for master's admission. So that's one thing. If you have a 2-2, don't write yourself off. You still have a chance if your last 2 years were your good years. So after you do your research, identify a school. Identify the program that you want and what schools offer that program. One very interesting website or resourceful website I think will help prospective international students is a website called www.educanada.ca. If you go on that website, you can narrow down your search for whatever program you're looking for whatever and the schools that offer that program. Some of the options on that website allows you to narrow down the cost of living in the cities where these schools are. So if money is a problem, you can look at what it will cost you to live in some of these cities for that to influence the decision you make on which school you're going to settle for. So Edu Canada is a very, very loaded website, very resourceful for any potential international student. One thing that I want people to know is you need to be able to sit down and determine what the end goal is right from the beginning. Why exactly are you interested in studying in Canada? Is it because you just want to study to go back to your home country, or do you want to remain in Canada to continue to work? Is that the end goal for you to stay and settle in Canada? When you think about that very well, it should influence the kind of decisions that you make. If the end goal is to stay in Canada and continue to work here, some of you are going to have to reconsider your choice of program at the level that you're considering it. There are some people who are very hung up on, I finished my bachelor's, I want to go to Canada and do a master's. But if the end goal is to live in Canada, the career path that you want for yourself, a master's degree may not be necessary for that career path. So you want to consider maybe doing a postgraduate diploma or a 2-year diploma instead of a master's degree. Now, this is the alternative for people who consider funding as a problem, because really, as with any other country in the world, if you're going to study in a different country, they're not going to waive the money for you. International tuition is expensive because it is a huge source of revenue for the government here. So that part, nobody is going to take out. It's going to cost you ×3 what a domestic student will pay. International students can pay up to ×3 what domestic students pay. So you can imagine how much revenue that generates for the university. So nobody's going to waive that as an option. It's either you have money or stay in your house. That's what they're going to look at it that way, right? So you want to consider studying at different levels. Consider a postgraduate diploma instead, or consider like a 2-year diploma instead, because Canada, in the workforce, I work in HR, I work in recruiting, the emphasis is more on hands-on experience, your transferable skills, the competencies that you bring to the role as against what certificate you bring. The emphasis is always going to be on experience before certificate. So if the end goal is to stay back and live in Canada, you want to expand your options and begin to consider study at other levels other than master's and PhD. So put a diploma on the table. That might just be what you need to get in. If you do a 2-year diploma in an institution that is a DLI, which is a designated learning institute, and is eligible for the postgraduate work permit when you're done, you can get up to minimum of, if you do a 2-year diploma, you will get a 2 to 3 year work permit after that program is over. And if you work for 1 year, depending on the province that you're in, you might become eligible for provincial nomination, or you'll be able to apply for express entry. So even before you finish working with the postgrad work permit, you'll be eligible to apply as a permanent resident, and then can just continue from there. So keep your options open, do a lot of research, read the admission requirements on the university website that you're trying to get into. How well do you qualify? What are the requirements? Which one do you have? Most institutions in Canada now, even if on their website they will tell you that proof of language proficiency is needed, there's a waiver that they approve for candidates from Western Africa, I'm very sure, because most of our institutions there, English is the primary language of instruction. So when you're able to show that your previous education was in English, the primary language of instruction was English, you qualify for what is called an IELTS waiver. That's the test of English waiver. So they remove that requirement for you. Even if it's on the website, you will have to ask questions. You will have to email the graduate admissions office to let them know that, okay, I qualify for this waiver, and they can waive it for you, but they will not remove it from the website, because what you see on the website are standard admission requirements, okay? Yeah. So you need to read, you need to do a lot of research, narrow down what your options are, keep your options open for the course. When you say what courses can people study, that question is always hard for me to answer, because it comes back to what your long-term plan is. What are your goals? What are you trying to do long-term? If all jobs in the world paid the same amount, which one would you be doing? So as much as we want to get into the program that are most competitive, with the ones that you will find jobs easily, we also want to make sure that you are going to be finding some satisfaction in that career path that you have chosen. So think about what you like and find things around what you like, so that it doesn't become frustrating in the end. So I don't know if I've adequately answered that.
Yeah, I think you have even said more than enough. Like, thank you so much. This is really loaded. Like, I just got something that you said that is really very important. Like, people are hung on, I want to do masters and all of that, and and when they see the cost and everything, they become discouraged and they don't consider other options, like you just mentioned, the postgraduate diploma and all of that. And I think really that is really interesting. I'm also wondering whether that is easy, because I know in the UK sometimes they still find it like to get that postgraduate work permit, sometimes it is expensive, and again sometimes to convert to skilled worker visa they might not be able to get a job even though they are qualified for it, but getting a job becomes difficult. Is it the same in Canada? How easy is it for international students when they finish? How easy is it for them to get a job?
So I think the hardest part of the international process is actually getting the study visa to leave your country and land in Canada. When you come to Canada, provided you fulfill the requirements of your visa, because that's something that international students don't understand. There are some people who the intention is to remain in Canada and work. But when they come here as students, they abandon their program and want to go straight to working. Look, let me tell you the truth. The worst place that you can be as an international student is to be on the wrong side of Canadian immigration. In Canada, you cannot build anything on top of a lie. It's a popular saying with immigration, especially when it comes to immigration processes. You can't build anything on top of a lie. So if you come here as an international student, you come and then you abandon the program, and you think that years down the line, you'll be able to apply for permanent residence, it is going to catch up with you. That's the truth. Okay. To answer the question, the process is a lot easier after you have landed in Canada as an international student. So land as an international student, take your program, go and read, pass, finish the course. If the school that you have taken this program with is eligible for the postgraduate work permit program, because that's one thing people need to pay attention to. The fact that the school can accept international students does not mean that they are qualified or are eligible for postgraduate work permit program. There are some schools that some of their programs are eligible, some others are not. So pay extra attention when you're applying to schools to make sure that you're applying to a school that is not only qualified to accept international students, you are also entering a program that is eligible for the postgraduate work permit program. If you graduate from a program that is eligible, the process is very straightforward. It's very, very straightforward. Where international students suffer sometimes is being able to find a job after they graduate, which is why I encourage people to take programs that have the co-op option. So the co-op option is like internship. Just the way we do internship in Nigeria, that's what the co-op program is like here, where for like an entire semester, students are placed with employers just to give them that first-hand experience of the Canadian workplace, what they need to know, the cultural differences, and those adjustments that they need to make as in the differences from where you're coming from. If you have that co-op experience, it gives you that first-hand experience into the workplace and what to expect when you now start working. And for most international students, a lot of times they're able to get their first jobs with the places where they do their co-op experience. Now that totally depends on your performance, because if you go there and the quality of the work that you give is bad, you have bad relationships with your colleagues, nobody's going to call you back or consider you for permanent employment when that time comes. So that's your opportunity to go there and make a positive difference. That's your opportunity to go there and really demonstrate your skills, the abilities that you bring, build good interpersonal relationship, build relationships where in the future, where you're looking for jobs, you will have somebody to call and say, hey, can I have coffee with you? I just need to talk to you about this opportunity and that opportunity. This is what I'm looking at. What insight can you give me? People are very open to that idea, but it will very, very well depend on the kind of relationship that you built with them. So you want to be very careful the trail that you're leaving behind you when you go for opportunities like that. You want to be sure that you're leaving positive impact with people so that when you call them in the future, somebody's going to answer you. So with people who do co-op, it now becomes easier for them to find jobs when they're done. And And with the co-op experience, it translates as Canadian experience. And when you have Canadian experience on your resume, I mean, I'm a recruiter, it looks nicer. What you're telling the person who's looking at the resume is, okay, this person has already worked in Canada. They understand cultural differences. They understand that adjustments will be needed, and they're already making plans to make those adjustments. So you become more competitive when you already have experience from Canada. So it becomes easier for you to get a job. And the postgraduate work permit application process is straightforward. If you can get a job and work for some provinces, is 1 year. There are some of them that do 6 months. I think for some particular programs in Saskatchewan, they do 6 months. Other places is 1 year. If you work for 1 year, after your program is complete, you then become eligible to apply directly for permanent residence. So the process is pretty straightforward from after you finish the program and when you're able to get a job.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I mean, this is really, really eye-opening. And thank you so much for sharing that, because if some people actually, they don't understand, if they don't really have, they want to remain in a country and they know how, how difficult it is for so many people to come to that country. And now they have the opportunity of studying there, and then they don't want to like make sure that their history and everything is very, very clean, so that they will give themselves that chance to get that permanent residency and all of that, even though they want it. So thank you so much for sharing that. What tips can you give people so that they will stay safe when they are trying to use agencies for the application process?
Okay, so this is where I first refer to a lot of research. There's a lot of reading needed. There's a lot of double checking you need to do. But unfortunately, we have more people who are looking for shortcuts. We have more people who are just looking for, can I just pay you to do everything for me? Unfortunately, we have more people who are in that bucket. And that's why these fake immigration agents, these fake admission agents, that's the reason why they are still in business, because we have people who would rather just give somebody money. Excuse me. We have more people who would rather just give somebody money than actually read for themselves. So one very major red flag that you need to look out for, if somebody reaches out to you and they tell you they're an immigration agent, they're admission agents, and they can help you with admission processes, one major red flag you need to look out for is when they tell you that they can 100% guarantee an outcome. Even licensed immigration consultants in Canada cannot guarantee any outcomes. If anybody tells you that 100% you're going to get this visa, 100% I'm very sure you will get your study visa, that's a red flag. With the IRCC, processing of permits and visas are done on a case-by-case basis. What is used to disqualify one person might not disqualify another person. So nobody has 100% guarantee on anything with the IRCC. So if they tell you that just give me money, 100% this is guaranteed, that's the first red flag. Second red flag is you need to be able to double check the information that this agent is giving you. If you do not find it on the IRCC website, clearly stated there, you have to question that. So when an agent comes to tell you that I'm going to give you admission into a school, the school will pay your flight tickets, they'll give you accommodation, they'll feed you and all of that while you're studying there. I don't know if there's any school in Canada that does that. That's a charity organization. If they're going to, all you have to do is just pay tuition, then they fly you into the country and feed you and accommodate you. It's not a boarding school. Do you understand what I mean? So you need to be able to do some research on your own and flag those things. These guys leverage on the fact that people don't read. Is why they tell people things and it runs. It's the same access to the internet all of us have. The same way I can Google is the same way you can Google. So before you part with your money, before you very quickly give somebody money and just relax and trust that everything they tell you is true, you need to be reading to double check that information. We have too many scammers who are promising really bogus. There's some of the packages people send to me. There's some offer letters people send to me to say, okay, I'll give you a job in Canada. And then for me, it's the minute details, right? I work in recruiting, so I know what a standard offer letter looks like. When you see somebody telling you things like your salary is going to be between this range and this range, offer letters don't carry a range of salary. Job postings do. So somebody can go on LinkedIn or go on Indeed and copy a job posting that an unassuming Canadian employer has put there. They copy it, design and offer a letterhead for a fictitious company and post a job posting on that letterhead and present it to you as an offer letter. But because you don't read, you will not know that this is actually a template of a job posting and not necessarily an offer letter. There's no offer letter that will tell you that your salary is going to be between $15 and $50 an hour. No, an offer letter will tell you you have been hired and your salary is going to be $40 an hour. It's specific. The benefits that you get on that job will be specific on an offer letter. But the job posting that that person has gone to print for you, if you don't double check this information, you will never know. Sometimes when people send me these offer letters and say, hey, I got the job with this organization and they want me to, they just, please help me look at this offer letter if it's true. Sometimes it's just the tiny detail as going to check who signed this letter. What's the name of the HR manager that signed this letter? And then go on LinkedIn and check that person up. You will find out that sometimes if those people exist, which more than half the time they do, they're actually real people, but there's no relationship between that real person and the company that is giving you an offer. So it's just those small details. Pay attention. What is the address of this company? Copy it and put it on Google. Is that an actual place? Is that the actual location of this office? Sometimes you will find that they copy things from random places that are completely unrelated and put it on an offer letter and sell it to you, and that's what you pay for. And it's at the end you realize that you just gave this guy money for nothing. All of this put together makes absolutely no sense. If somebody is offering you a job, giving you an offer letter for a job that you did not apply for, you were not interviewed for, that's another red flag. And you two, you are greedy. Who will give you a job without doing interview? Tell me. Who will give you a job? So if you really sit down to dissect what these guys say, you will see that there are many loopholes. Cultivate the habit of reading, cultivate the habit of doing research on your own, question everything. Even this thing I'm telling you, go online, go and look it up. Go online, go and look it up. If we will just pay a little more attention and take more time to really read about these processes, nobody will be able to take you for a fool. Nobody will be able to take you for granted because you can counter what they're saying with the correct information. So the fake immigration agents are not going to go away. We just hope that their customer base will begin to reduce because more people will read. Same thing with admission. There are actually licensed student recruiters. There are actually organizations that institutions in Canada partner with to do student recruitment for them. So they will do most of the processes on your behalf until you land in the school, then their job is done. But you also have to be careful. Whatever information those people are giving you, double check. There are organizations like that have consultants who will meet with you one-on-one and talk about what your career plan is, your admission plan is, and give you advice, give you ideas on what to make you more competitive. Some of these people will take a look at your resume. Some of them will look at your statement of purpose, your statement of intent, your study plan, look at it and let you know what's going to be competitive, what's going to fly with a visa agent, and what is not going to fly. So there are licensed organizations like that. But that one, you still have to read, you still have to be careful and make sure you're double checking and comparing the information you're getting from them, that it matches the information that is on the IRCC website or that is on the school's website. Because sometimes the school will let you know who they are working with, which licensed agents they work with. So if somebody tells you I'm a licensed agent for this school and you go on the school's website and you see no information that suggests a relationship between this agent and the school, you also want to question that. And it's okay for you to actually email the school to say, hey, this person reached out to me and they claim to be a licensed agent recruiting for your school. Can you confirm that this is correct? Just to be safe and protect yourself before you give any money. So yeah, that's just what I would say. People need to cultivate the habit of reading, pay a lot more attention to the information you're getting, and double check that information to be sure that what you're getting is actually the correct thing. So
thank you so much. So everyone, she has her own YouTube channel, like I mentioned at the beginning. So check her out. She has a lot of resources, including how you can actually apply for this school. Do you want to recommend a particular video that people can also watch in your channel? That would be good as well.
Yeah, so the most recent one I've done is about free admission processing. It's free admission processing for international students, people who are interested in studying in Canada from whatever countries they're in. For the particular organization that I was referencing in that video, they are not confined to Canada. It's Canada, the US, the UK, and Australia. And they offer these free admission services. Now, it's not free application fees. That's not what that is. The free admission process it means that you're going to have a consultant who would look at your resume, who would look at your statement of purpose, your study plan. Both of you are going to draw up something that will put you in the most competitive position. But if the school requires application fees, that responsibility is still going to be on you. They also offer free visa application advice to look at the application process you're going to submit for your visa and what puts you in the most competitive position. So it's not that they apply for the visa for you or they pay the visa fees. It's the processing, it's the advice they give you to put you in the most competitive position. That's what they offer for free. So if you want more information about that, the video on my channel is called Free Admission Processing for International Students. So you want to do well to check it out. If that's the process that you're interested in considering, there's a Google form in the description box of that video. If you fill out that form, somebody's going to reach out to you and provide personalized help on how you can go about the admission processing. So.
Okay, so yeah, so just check that video. I think I've watched that video and it's really very good. So if you are considering Canada as an option for you to go and study and all of that, you can watch that video. It's information packed and I believe that you'll find it useful. So thank you so much, Marina, for joining me today. I really appreciate all the advice. And I think this is really a good advice from the horse's mouth. It's not like it is something that you have to really, really consider if you have been applying to Canadian universities and all of that.
Let me just add something as I wrap this up.
Yeah,
One
sure.
other thing that potential students need to pay a lot of attention to is when you have put all your application documents together, you have your transcripts, your entrance average is competitive, you have submitted your statement of purpose or statement of intent, you have submitted your resume, your references are good, everything is good. One part that a lot of students don't pay attention to is how you communicate with the graduate admissions office. In sending that email, that initial email, if you have questions, you want somebody to respond to you to answer your question, how you respond to those emails, how you send those emails, it's also part of the admission consideration. So you can have very good grades, very competitive grades, but if your communication is poor, if you are rude in that email, it's going to work against you. And here's why. The graduate admissions person who's on the other side of that call, when you call an admissions office or when you email an admissions office, they have a say in who gets into the program. Some of them are part of graduate admission committees. I know that because I was a member of a graduate admission committee, even though I was the one responding to emails from potential international students. And sometimes the decision comes down to how was this person's communication when they reach out to you. So don't assume that because, is it not just a secretary that's on the other side, you call them and order them around or talk to them anyhow, or send an email at 8 o'clock and 8:05, you are following up for a response. Like, how dare you not have responded in 5 minutes? You want to pay attention and watch those things because team playing is a huge part of graduate admissions. Team playing, working together in teams is a huge part of your program in whatever school you're going to. You're going to be put in groups to work together with other international students. Even if it's research-based, you're not doing the research alone, you're going to be working with people. And that initial communication tells them what your relationship with other team members are going to be like. So if you are the kind that does not know how to exhibit tact or diplomacy or emotional intelligence, you're going to have a problem. I actually know somebody whose entrance average, at that time, the requirement was 70. This person's entrance average was at a 91. So you can tell that the very competitive, but he didn't get into the program. It came down to the correspondence. It came down to the emails. It came down to how insultive, almost insultive. It's almost like because the person knows they're smart, everybody should be at my beck and call. It worked against them and they didn't get into that program. So you want to be extra careful in your correspondence when you're emailing graduate admissions office. Think about it like you are emailing a member of a graduate admissions committee, because that's what it might just be. So in every step of the way, you want to make sure you're polite, you show courtesy in your emails. Don't make grammatical blunders, because we know, admissions officers know, that people can actually pay other people to write their statement of purpose, statement of intent. It is your emails, those one-on-one correspondence, that tells me that you are the one talking. So you cannot have a statement of purpose that is so professionally written, but your email correspondence, you are typing an official email, like you're writing a text to your friend, that's going to be a red flag. It will tell the admissions officer that one of these two documents was not written by this person, and chances are it was the statement of purpose that was not written by you. So you want to make sure that at all time you're presenting yourself as a professional. When you write like a professional. Treat it like it's a job interview at all times, because you're going to be assessed on all of this at every step of the way. So that's just a tip that a lot of people don't think about, but as a former graduate administrator, I can tell you for free that all of that is put into consideration. All of that comes together to inform what the admissions decision will be. So pay extra attention to that. I wish you guys all the best.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the tips. I believe that this is really powerful, guys. Thank you so much, Marina. And everyone watching, make sure you put all these things that she has mentioned, that she has talked about in this video into consideration. Thank you, Marina, and thank you so much.